Welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars, the place where we slip past the red carpets and into the real, unexpected moments that keep the world of Turkish entertainment buzzing. Before we dive into today's tangled tale, make sure you're subscribed, tap that like button, and if you want to go all in with us, hit join for exclusive backstage scoops. Today, it's impossible to talk about anything else. Cemre Arda has been everywhere in the headlines, not only because of her recent candid reflections about identity and boundaries, but because of a moment on set that left even seasoned insiders at a loss for words. And yes, it involves the man who is not only her co-star but her real-life partner, Gökberk. The scene that ignited comment sections and DMs across the internet was a kiss, scripted, planned, rehearsed, yet so startlingly alive that thousands swore it was spontaneous. It unfolded inside a carefully rebuilt cafe in the Galata district, all amber light and vintage wood, with the scent of strong coffee hanging in the air and the city's hum faintly filtering through the set walls. First came the quiet, the soft click of cups, the slow choreography of movements. Then the look, Cemre's eyes searching for an answer only Gökberk's could give back, a spark that seemed to appear and then catch fire. Their approach was almost imperceptible at first, then measured, then inevitable, and when their lips met, time seemed to stretch. The director called cut, but for a few heartbeats, nobody moved. Not the boom operator, not the script supervisor, not even the extras pretending to sip coffee. Silence like a curtain falling. It was all on the page, a lighting tech murmured later, shaking his head as if trying to blink away a dream. But it felt like standing in a room with something truer than dialogue. For a second, we forgot about lenses and marks. His words have echoed through just about every crew WhatsApp chat in the city. What complicates and enriches this moment is what led up to it. Cemre has spent the past months training with an internationally respected creative coach, someone who is there for every setup, every angle, every retake. They run breath patterns before the slate claps, they weave through emotional improvisations when a scene calls for more texture, and they build pages and pages of character diaries, handwritten, messy, honest, to give memory and weight to each reaction. That work is not performative, not for show, and it's especially delicate here because the characters' vulnerabilities overlap with parts of Cemre's own life. The romance on the page might be fiction, but the heartbeat underneath is very much hers, and yes, very much connected to the man standing opposite her. On set, though, something steady ruled the day: professionalism. The production did not lose its center, the lights stayed on time, the marks stayed taped, the director kept the schedule sharp. Even while social media fired up with rumors about blurred boundaries and speculative whispering about whether their private love slipped into the shot, the coach stayed calm, clapping gently once the take ended, touching Cemre's shoulder with a quiet steadiness, and murmuring to her to feel the floor, inhale, exhale, return to the scene's frame. Support, yes. Indulgence, no. It was the kind of guidance that holds the line between art and life without building a wall so high that nothing genuine can rise over it. And then the leak. Not from a phone in a pocket on the set floor, not from an extra fishing for clout, but from a control monitor feed, grainy but intimate, black bars and all. In a matter of hours, the clips swept through timelines and private groups with an almost gravitational pull. The tags that hit hardest were the obvious ones, some variation of hashtag Cemre Gökberk and hashtag Kissing Galata, and the discourse split right down the middle. Half of the internet cheered, hearts in their throats, saying the screen rarely gets this kind of real connection. The other half insisted that what we were seeing was the same exact thing that great acting has always done: conjure truth from craft. It shook me, one user wrote in a thread that racked up tens of thousands of likes. But the power of that moment doesn't mean we know anything about their private life beyond what they've chosen to show. That's the respect they've earned. The fact that these two are together in real life only adds oxygen to the fire. They've long balanced intimacy with privacy, choosing not to turn their relationship into content. There are no choreographed couples vlogs, no staged grocery runs for the paparazzi, no comment wars. Friends of the set say they arrive separately, sit apart between takes unless the shot demands it, and treat call sheets like sacrosanct documents. And in this case, as the clip rocketed into virality, Cemre said nothing. No spontaneous notes app posts, no coy captions, no live streams at midnight. People close to her say the same thing they've said for years. She protects her interior life. She protects her process. And right now, the work demands more from her than the noise ever can. Gökberk, too, stayed quiet. No interviews. No quote tweets. Just a single photo from the set, filters muted, palette warm, captioned with a line that felt like a window cracked open but not flung wide, when the script finds a pulse. It wasn't a confession, or a tease, or a denial. It was a statement of craft, a reminder that fiction can thrum with truth when two actors trust the material, each other, and the room they're in. Critics and journalists, for once, seemed to reach a rare consensus. What happened in that cafe was not a PR stunt or a lover's slip but an exhibition of skill finely tuned and fearlessly executed. The precision of the blocking, the restraint across the face, the controlled release of what looked like an irrepressible feeling, it all added up to a miniature lesson in why we watch stories at all. Some have already called it one of the scenes of the year, the kind of moment that sits in your chest long after the credits roll, refusing to be reduced to gossip or a headline. The setting itself deserves credit. The production designers rebuilt a Galata cafe with an obsession for detail. The tables wobbled just enough to be real, the bar had that low hum of plates stacking and spoons clinking, and a stray beam of evening sun landed on the edge of a saucer like a line the city wrote into the scene. You could believe that outside those doors, trams rattled past and strangers' lives carried on, utterly unaware that a piece of television was being crafted inside. The director had the actors run through 3 approaches. In the first, the distance between them was polite, measured, almost fragile. In the second, there was more risk in the glance, more permission in the lean. In the third, the one you've seen clipped and replayed and slowed down to 1,000 frames, their chemistry tightened like a cord pulled taut until release became the only honest choice. Before any of that, though, there were conversations not just between the actors but with the intimacy coordinator, a professional whose job it is to map out consent and boundaries down to the most intricate beat. Being a couple did not erase the need for those protocols. If anything, it made them more necessary. Cemre and Gökberk outlined a trust pact specific to the scene: what touched what, how long, the angle of the camera, when to break eye contact, where to place hands, how breath would be managed. The coach added an emotional roadmap: the exact second the character yields to longing, the millisecond where fear flickers through before it's overridden. The choreography was tight. The feeling was not. That's the paradox when intimacy is done right. After the cut that felt like a spell breaking, small details became magnified. A makeup artist stood still with a brush, mid-step. A boom operator blinked like someone waking up. The director kept their voice level, calling reset, but their grin gave away some private satisfaction. Cemre's chest rose and fell in measured counts, returning to neutral. Gökberk walked a short circle to shake off adrenaline, then met her eyes with a professional nod that meant, "We did the job, we can let it go now." And they did. They stepped back into the machine of production, hitting times, respecting departments, trusting the footage would tell the story better than any tweet ever could. But the internet is the internet. Threads appeared dissecting their body language across public appearances, splicing together festival red carpets and charity galas with that 12-second kiss from the monitor. Some users insisted the couple had been dropping hints for months: a head tilt here, a brush of a sleeve there, while others rolled their eyes at the tendency to turn every glance into a coded message. Fan edits gave the moment a life of its own, layered with music and captions, slowed down to catch a breath, a smile, a softening of a jawline. Meanwhile, columnists wrote think pieces about the thin membrane between authenticity and performance when romantic partners share the screen. Is the electricity on set a threat to the private space of the relationship, or a reflection of a deeper trust that only strengthens it? That, for now, remains their secret. The conversation looped back to the human piece. What happens to two people in love when millions discuss the single second they kissed for work as though it were a political referendum? Friends say they don't compete for attention at home. They compare pages, trade notes, and treat their shared profession like a coastline they both navigate from different angles. A boundary they agreed on early, according to someone who has known them for years. Their relationship exists whether a lens can see it or not. That doesn't mean they'll never tell stories about each other. It means they won't let an algorithm decide when. In the midst of all of this, the coach remained an anchor. After the take, he praised Cemre not for what anyone could see but for the interior work that no one will ever fully grasp. Later, during a quick break near the monitor, he reminded her to separate the character's need from her own, to put the diary pages away for the night so she could sleep. The advice was ordinary, and that's precisely why it mattered. It allowed the extraordinary moment to exist without swallowing the rest of her life. Industry voices chimed in with something that might just be the healthiest take of the week. This is what the best actors do. They make it feel unguarded, even when the guardrails are meticulously set. They bring themselves to the work without surrendering what must remain theirs, and when the spotlight tries to turn private oxygen into public fire, they step back, breathe, and let the work stand. You could watch that cafe scene 100 times and keep finding new shades in it, but you'll never find a confession. Nor should you need to. So where does it all leave us? With a memory that already feels iconic, with a couple that has built a boundary strong enough to hold the weight of public desire, and with a story that has become more than a moment, it's a touchstone. Maybe the truth is simple: the kiss looked real because the two people in it respect each other, the craft, and the limits they've set. That is not a contradiction. It's the reason the shot worked. We'll leave the last question to you. When you watched that kiss between Cemre and Gökberk, whether you saw it in crisp HD or through the haze of a leaked monitor,